what you're doing, no matter where you're at, you just need to start that one thing. And it could be maybe you've been letting off going to the gym, maybe you've been letting off um, starting that new project or starting that business. The reality of it is you can just start it. It doesn't you don't need to be perfect at everything. And there's always a funny kind of saying that goes around that um, when I was in college is like C's to get degrees. Um, and I would argue that the majority of business owners are actually people that probably got C's. They weren't the people that got straight A's. The majority of the people that excel in life too are the people that usually did somewhat average in school. And a piece to take away from that is, well, these people don't ask for perfection. These people will continuously put one foot forward, even if they don't know exactly what they're going to get out of it. They they just create action, and ultimately, if you want to have any type of successful business, any type of successful career that you're just getting into, the reality of it is you need to just start. And a lot of people that are extremely smart and a lot smarter than probably the majority of the people that actually are at the top level of our society, they there's a lot of people that are super smart that'll never get there. And they won't get there because they overthink everything. They're extremely smart, so then they think, well, I need to have this certain thing to perfection before I release it out to the world. I need to have the most perfected thing that I can think of, and it has to have everything that I can possibly. And I can't really fail at something because that would mean that I'm not that smart, and I can't. I don't want to be that vulnerable because that means I'm just not that good at that thing. And the fact of the matter is, you're going to be bad at everything you start. Like if you want to ever be good at anything, you have to be extremely, extremely bad at it when you first start. You don't just get there by like just wishful thinking. You get there by constant effort in the beginning to that perfection, but you don't even get to that perfection, I would argue, ever, because um, it's the pursuit of that perfection that brings forth improvement. It's never like the actual thing that you just completely do and then get that perfection out of it just sudden. But what I'm trying to say with this is if you have that thing that business or that project you've always wanted to start, you have to start somewhere. So being completely content with failing in the beginning and being really bad at it is ultimately what's going to propel you to be successful. Because as you figure out in the start, well, yeah, I'm really bad at this one thing. And that's completely fine because you're meant to be bad at it. You're not meant to be good at it, at any type of thing. When you first start it, you're not meant to be good at it. Nobody is just naturally good at, like, maybe say software or say working out or even sales. Nobody is just naturally gifted and just completely excels, but everyone has a different starting points. So that's the frustrating part of it is everyone's at a different starting point. Some people's starting point is quite a bit ahead of maybe some other people, but their starting point is completely different. So they'll constantly compare themselves to those people that are just excelling and just going getting it. And they'll be like, wow, I'm not doing as well as that person next to me. But the fact of the matter is, they have a complete different background than you. Maybe they, for example, say if it sells and somebody's just naturally good at it. Well, they're not naturally good at it. Maybe they just had something in their past that compelled them to be a lot better at it than you because maybe they had a lot of communication growing up. Maybe they had to, navigate different type of scenarios in their family that allowed them to, build some sort of really good communication. And maybe you were on, maybe you had a smaller family, which didn't compel you to increase those communication skills. So you can't compare yourself to other people. You can only compare yourself to you on how better you're getting over time, especially when you first start something, because you're just not going to be good at it. And understanding and seeing that I'm not going to be good at it it's fine, but you have to come to that realization, because we all, and I do this all the time too. When I first start something, I'm like, oh, but not me. I'm going to be the guy that just freaking kills it. And I'm going to be the guy that just excels past everybody. And they're just looking at me like, wow, that guy just is crushing everything. And we like to have this idea in the back of our mind, like, I'm going to be that person that will do that. But you have to catch yourself and you have to be like, okay, that's not going to be me, because that sets you up for failure. If your idea of, yeah, I'm going to be so good at it when I first start, then that sets yourself up for failure, because the reality of it is you aren't going to be good at it. You aren't. You're just not. So when you have this idea that I'm going to be so good at it when I first start, and then you're not, well, guess what? You're going to be extremely disappointed, like very disappointed. Um, Rather, if you started in the mindset of, okay, I'm going to fail at this one thing, I'm actually probably going to fail at it a lot, and it's going to be extremely frustrating, but that's okay, because that's how it's just meant to be. And if you come to the realization of being okay with that early failure and being okay with that, when you first start off not being good at it, that is where that success will start, because you're never going to start that one thing if you think you're going to be extremely good at it. You're just not going to start. Most people don't start things because they're afraid of, sometimes people are even afraid of doing too well, or it going too good. And sometimes that's why some people don't start. Some people might not start because they're afraid of failure, but failure is just a growing pain to success. It's not permanent, it's not finite. So don't treat it as such. Just understand that it's just a part of the process. It's the part of growing, the part of just being human, is failing at things and growing. But having the mindset of, when you first start something, being okay with that early failure and being bad at it for a certain amount of time, just completely let that in and just be like, yeah, it's going to suck in the beginning. I'm going to be bad at it, but I'm going to grow, and I'm going to learn what it takes to be really good at this certain skill. Um, so, my advice to anyone when they first start something is, don't let it off until tomorrow or until the next day. Like I had the thought process of, about 3 years ago, I wanted to start maybe posting on social media a little bit more. I wanted to grow maybe a YouTube channel, or Instagram or TikTok, mainly for my business. But I just never started. Like, I just didn't, and I didn't start because I felt like maybe the fear of people judging me, the fear of even failing or being really bad at it. But I had to come to the terms of, I knew I wasn't going to be good at it. It's a skill that you just need to develop, but in turn, it will pay off after, X amount of months, X amount of years. Like, as long as you can just have fun with it when you first start, it's like, well, what the heck, like, there's, you can have fun with it. There's, just quit taking things so serious. Yeah, sure, you could be bad at it, whatever. Like, just have fun with it along the way. So if you're thinking of starting something, start it sooner than later, because the later usually never comes. It just doesn't. Like, you'll find yourself 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road, and you've still never started that one thing that you said you would start. So my advice is just, I know you hear it all the time, but it's start today. Tomorrow never comes. So if you start today, you're going to be much more ahead of yourself where you thought you'd be than if you try to perfect it and learn everything there is to know now and then start it later down the road. It's like it just never comes. You learn so much more in the actual doing of that thing than you ever will if you pick up a book and you just start learning that skill. You actually learn way more when you actually start doing it. So just do it. Like the pick up, put down whatever you're doing right now, and then think of that project or that goal or um, that thing you wanted to start, that business, that maybe social media, maybe you wanted to start sharing your ideas, maybe you needed to write that book. Um, just quit what you're doing now and just focus on just doing that first step forward, because it's going to be tough that first, but when you start building up that momentum, that's where all the progress is going to happen. But yeah, thanks. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, subscribe down to the bottom if you want to see more content like this.